fun with failure.
Hello, this is Dallas. I've compiled 6 stories from TIFU, Neckbeard Experience, and Ret'Hell. These are some of my favorites. I wanted to put something together pretty quick, and getting some of my favorites I thought would be nice. I've been extremely busy, but I got everything together. As soon as I get this started downloading, I'm going to be doing a ton of narration, so I'll be able to have some stuff out. New Neckbeard stuff, new TIFU, and new Ret'Hell. I like all the stories, so I hope you enjoy. It will be out very soon. Without further ado, here we go. So today, I had a dentist appointment, and the most awkward moment in my life happened. So my dentist had his hands down my throat, doing toothy things, when he asked me, "What kind of music do you like?" Now, a bit about myself. I'm a lonely, antisocial moron who likes literally nothing better than to talk to people about music. So when the words left the man's mouth, my dark glass-covered eyes lit up. With great pride in my voice, I smugly responded, "Just about every type under the sun." Or at least that's what I thought I said. What I actually said was, I never got to finish that sentence, as my words were cut off by the dentist's screams. Turns out in my haste to talk to someone, I had forgotten that the best place to do so isn't exactly lying down in a reclined chair with your mouth wide open and another man's hands exploring your throat. I had bitten the poor man's finger, and it was literally leaking blood. But that wasn't even the worst part. When I had bitten the man, it had also bitten a part of his blue latex glove off. The bloody thing managed to work his way into my trachea, and I was choking. This would be fine if it wasn't for the fact that a lot of dentist blood was still in my mouth, so I managed to cough all of this up as well, all over the face of the horrified assistant who was holding the spit sucker thingy. With assurance from the dentist and nurse that this happens all of the time, I hurriedly left the room and ran downstairs. When I got to the receptionist, the lady there asked me, "That was quite a racket up there. What happened?" I didn't even answer. I signed my name on a form that I didn't even bother to read, and I ran out of the building. In my early 20s, I was fortunate to work at the front desk of this lovely boutique hotel and restaurant, which also hosted its fair share of weddings. I'm not a huge wedding person, but for better or for worse, wedding nights are always entertaining. On this particular Saturday night, years ago, I encountered this neckbeard, gentleman extraordinaire and true art connoisseur. We'll call him Artie. The front desk was not really involved with the weddings. We give directions to the guest over the phone, point them to the bathroom, or answer random questions about the hotel. On rare occasions, we may even open up the dining room doors for the bride and groom's entrance into the reception. We're usually busy checking in hotel guests and tend to their needs. This is why I was completely unprepared to play entertainer to the most neck-beardy gentle sir to ever walk through the front doors. After the ceremony, out of the corner of my eye, I noticed him standing in the entrance between the dining room and the front desk. How could I not notice him? His build was tall, and he was bordering on obese. He was facing me, just a mere 7 feet away. His dark, greasy hair pulled back in a ponytail. A fedora adorned his head. His beard was patchy, his mustache wispy. Over his ill-fitted suit, he wore a legitimate duster coat to a summer wedding. In triple digit sweltering heat, he wore a freaking duster coat. I checked my first couple of the night into their room. "Greetings." He took a long pause to stare at my name tag. "My lady, may I inquire as to the history of this fine establishment? It's obviously rather old." It wasn't. Had you seen it, you may have been surprised that it was barely over a decade old. I politely informed him as such. It was a common question. "Well, that can't be completely true, my lady. You see, I'm well versed in all forms of art and in classic architecture. The building may be new, but clearly the wood, the mantel, the doors used to build it are old. I see these things, for I am an artist. I'm Artie, by the way." He smirks. He's still wrong, but I do tell him that some of the furniture is antique. His smirk moves to a lopsided grin. "See, I am an artist, and as an artist, I see things the average person does not." A couple comes in, toting luggage behind them. Thank God. I tell him that it was nice speaking to him, and I turn to help the couple at the front. He doesn't leave. Excuse me, my lady. I'll be right with you, sir. Artie, I'll be right with you in a moment. He huffs, and he shuffles back and forth between the same 3 feet. All too soon, the couple leaves to their room, and there is Artie. He smiles. How may I help you, Artie? Where's your bar? I was wondering if you would guide me. Sure thing. Just make a quarter turn to your left, straight through the dining room and through the double doors. It'll be immediately on your left. The phone rings. I answer. He huffs. Between phone calls, he finally stutters out that he would like me to take him there. Because according to him, he's never been here before, and he could get lost. I place a call on hold, and I call for a server to escort him. He stalks away, clearly upset. He returns carrying a red wine. He tells me that he enjoys fine red, while staring at my hair, especially one with a nice body and good legs. His eyes followed along with his words. I've never cringed so hard. I smile politely, but say nothing. He prattles on about his intelligence. He's a certified genius, you know. His taste in literature. He'll help educate me on true literature, befitting for an intelligent and beautiful lady such as myself. And his love of art. All the while he was huffing to himself whenever I dared to leave to do my job. I finally managed to check on my hotel guest. It's just about 15 minutes before my shift ends. He's been talking about art for hours. I somehow make the grave error of looking down at my paperwork instead of him during his impassioned speech. He grabs my arm. I freeze. He drags me through the hall. He doesn't ask me a single question about myself, like, "My lady, are you single? My lady, would you like to grab a coffee sometimes? My lady, would you like it if I let you work instead of talking to you and making your guest uncomfortable? My lady, do you like being touched by strangers? No, yes, and heck no." I come to my senses and I yank my arm away. He puts his hands on my shoulders and he turns me to face a painting in the middle of the hallway. "You see, my lady, most people only see a painting. I see so much more." He points a stubby finger at the painting. "I see all the brush strokes. See here? Can you tell from the brush strokes that this artist was clearly inspired by the great classics of Renaissance period?" The front desk bell rings. I try to leave. It's harder and harder to stay polite and professional. "Yes, Artie, I do see brushstrokes. I think that's what people see when they look at paintings. I have to go to the front now." "Yeah, but I see more." He goes into a long-winded speech about his vast knowledge of classical art and superior taste in paintings. The front desk bell rings again. Yes, of course, someone is at the front desk for me. I make my exit, and there's the sound of huffing behind me. I disappear into the back. The night clerk, my hero, has come to relieve me of my shift, and is already helping guests at the front. I disappear into the back room, leaving Artie with his full-bodied red and a print canvas of classic painting. This happened maybe a year ago. Many friends told me that I should put it in here, so here we are. I attended a university where we had a shuttle system in place during the weekends, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Friday and Saturday, and then 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday. You get on, you tell the driver where you want to go, and what time you want to be picked up. It's all good. It's absolutely free, so quite a few students take this shuttle. They use it to get groceries or go to local restaurants with friends without having to pay for gas. I think the city foots the bill because tuition isn't high enough to cover the shuttle. Aside from attending classes at the university, I also work there. I work in the cafeteria. It's named the quarterdeck, commonly referred to as the QD. I work there almost every day. I'm scheduled for a set shift each week, but I get called in a lot because my college students don't show up to their shift. The uniform that we wear is dark pants. Denim jeans are fine, and a royal blue shirt. This pertains to the university. The QD provides us with one of the cafeteria logos. It's on the front upper left that says crew in big yellow letters on the back. But as long as the shirt is blue and says the university's name, it'll pass. And any hat or hairnet. This is all very important because this story takes place immediately after I left the diner shift, and this was on Friday night. I got on the shuttle, still in uniform. I wore a hairnet that day, which I disposed before I got on. I asked to go to Walmart for 20 minutes. I needed a few items, and a friend gave me some money to get them something while I was there, since they had to work late. Once at Walmart, I grabbed a cart that was able to be carried and I began shopping. Not even 5 minutes in, I heard a lady sighing in annoyance. I was too tired from class and work to think properly, so I thought she was just trying to get something from the shelf. And thinking that I was standing in front of her, I moved out of the way, but otherwise I paid no mind. Not even a glance was made in her direction. I just wanted to grab my items and leave. This was the wrong move, I was soon to find out, because she decided that I had disrespected not only her, but her entire family from past and future. She tapped on my shoulder rather forcefully. I think I even had a bruise for a week, while clearing her throat in the most sarcastic way she could. I looked up to see this woman in her mid-40s. That was the epitome of, let me talk to your manager customer. She had the haircut and jewelry and everything. This is how the conversation went. Can I help you?
Well, it's about time you did your job.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, are you as deaf as you are stupid? I've been trying to get your attention for hours.
This is a good time to mention that I have a habit of tuning people out when I go to the store, other than a bare minimum of autopiloting, and that's just to avoid bumping into someone. The fact that I was tired had strengthened this, and I'm sure I only knew she was there because she essentially harmed me. Aside from this, not only was my shirt the wrong shade of blue, but my hair was dyed purple at the time. I was part of a fundraiser for Relay for Life, and I said that I would dye my hair purple if we raised enough. Dyed hair is against most retail dress codes. The school, they literally don't give a crap since it was school sanctioned. I didn't look like any employees. Ma'am, I don't work here.
You most definitely do.
Why do you think that?
Your shirt says crew on the back and you walk around like you know every inch of the store.
Well, I've been here a lot, and I usually get the same things, so I know where I'm going. I still don't work here. My shirt says quarter deck. I pointed out and she huffs at it.
Then you work at Starbucks. You still work here.
There's a small Starbucks at the front of the store, but they have vastly different uniforms. Not to mention, they actually say Starbucks. At this point, I want her to get as far away from me as possible. Again, I'm tired and I want to buy my things and leave. Instead of trying to argue with her, I put on the most retail smile I can manage. I've worked at retail before, so I'm trained for this. And I make my voice just as tooth-rotteningly sweet. You're right, ma'am. I forgot that we're connected. That's my mistake, and I'm extremely grateful that you pointed that out. I promise I'll work on it. What are you looking for, and I will try my best to help you find it. I'm being overly perky as a mix of overcompensating for my exhaustion and being extremely sarcastic.
There you go. I knew you could do it. You just need some sense beat into you.
She actually said that. I had to keep from stepping back. She was looking for a specific brand of dog food that I knew that Walmart did not carry. Only knew that because my mom asked me for the price on it a while back. Obviously, this woman wouldn't believe me, so I came up with a different aisle. Go to 12B. All sections stopped, or at least before the aisle number reached 10. So the fact that I told her to go to aisle 12, much less 12B, was the funniest thing to me at the time. It's still pretty funny to me now. Oh yeah, that must be in aisle 12B, since I believe we just got it in stock. You can get there by going all the way down there and turn left, and you'll see it immediately. She left somewhat satisfied, and I returned to my shopping. I knew that if I didn't leave soon, that woman would release storms of storms. Nearly 40 customers asked for my help that day. I tried to re-explain at first, but none of them were having reality for some reason. I helped the first few, who were extremely nice and acted as though they legitimately didn't want to bother me. But everyone else, aisle 12B. The location changed as to where I was at the time, because all the way down there was just whichever end of the store was furthest away from me. Cereal? Aisle 12B. Garden equipment? Aisle 12B. Rat poison? Aisle 12B. By the time I was checking out, I was so done. I went through the self-scan to avoid any more interaction, and I probably was the fastest to check out. Before I could leave the store though, I had one more hurdle. The manager stopped me while I was heading to the exit to get on my shuttle. Enough people had complained to get her on my tail because she looked positively livid.
You don't need to bother coming in your next shift. You're being let go for not being a team player and misleading your customers.
Only looked at her with the look that I was probably expressing how dead I was inside at this point. I don't work here. I tried that one more time, hoping it wasn't in vain, but all hope was gone at this point from my voice. I've never worked here. I just want to go home, make some mac and cheese, and fall asleep before I finish the bowl. I just want to live a simple life. I just want to leave. I never asked for this. The manager looked at me, studying, as her angered expression softened.
Oh, so that's why you didn't look familiar.
I gave my friend his items, and I told him the story. It ended up that the story was passed around until the entire dorm heard of it. This happened around Halloween of 2016. So last year's Halloween fell on a Monday, and due to my work schedule, I was unable to do anything on Halloween night. In lieu of this, my friends and I decided to plan an outing on Friday night. One of my buddies, we'll call him Bud, he was dating a young lady who was working at the Los Angeles Haunted Hayride out in Griffin Park, and she offered us a friends and family discount if we showed up and mentioned her name. We figured it'd be something to do, and none of us could afford to do anything else, especially the fancy Hollywood party. So prior to this event, Bud invited us over his house to hang out and to eat dinner before the event. We also decided to smoke a little weed before going. Oh yeah, this would make the event more fun. At the time, I should note that I had not heard what the theme of the event was, but according to Bud's lady friend, it was a carnival theme. So we're on the road to the hayride, and I'm chilling out in the backseat of my roommate's car. We'll just call him Roomie. We're listening to NPR, and we're each trying to mimic the average NPR host, but we're trying to do it in a very comedic way. I'm giggling my butt off as the euphoria is starting to kick in, and I'm not really thinking about where we're going. We arrive at the event, and we find parking near the entrance of the carnival grounds. We mention the lady's name, and we get the discount score, and we walk in. This is when I notice that this isn't some carnival with just haunted hayrides, but the entire place is a haunted carnival featuring my favorite thing, clowns. Lots and lots of clowns. Now, I don't like clowns. Never have. But I genuinely try not to hold my childhood fears against people who try to make balloon animals and attempt to make people laugh. But these weren't those type of clowns. At this point, I'm trying my best not to show my fear, but the mixture of my own anxiety and the drug-induced paranoia, it's not making it any easier. We slowly make our way to the line for the hayride. We're passing various clowns that seem to have sprung from my darkest fears. Finally, we make it to the line for the hayride, which is surprisingly long. We stand in line for what feels like 30 minutes, and we maybe get halfway to the front of the line when I see her. This short person, I can't tell with makeup. She's dressed up like a little clown girl who is holding a fiery axe, and she's staring at me. This clown girl, she locks eyes with me and she starts grinning, and she's skipping toward me in the strangest possible way, and she's twirling this axe with glee. I can't stop watching, and I'm sort of immobilized at this point due to fear and, well, weed. Needless to say, the clown girl, she comes right up to the line and she stands just a few feet away from me, not once unlocking her gaze from me. The line moves, and she moves with it. I am not having a good time. I think the clown girl finally caught on because she eventually wandered off to creep on someone else, but the damage is done at this point. My paranoia is running deep. I can see the clowns everywhere, each with their weapons and their gleeful expressions. This is my nightmare. I suddenly have the deathly urge to pee. Not sure where it came from, but I tell my friend to hold my spot in line, for some odd reason. Well, I wander off to find the bathroom. I strategically try to avoid all the clowns. I made my way to an attendant that was not dressed up like a murderous clown, and I ask him where I can find the bathroom. The attendant points to the bathroom, not far from the entrance to the carnival grounds, and my short trip begins. The bathroom is actually a collection of bathrooms. It's like a building of bathrooms, between one of the parking lots and the carnival grounds. I trot over and find an unused bathroom to use, and I go in. It's at this exact point that my mind goes into some sort of cinematic mode. I'm not sure. The bathroom looks like one of those rest stop bathrooms you see in a horror film, complete with the flickering lights. I whiz, and I take a moment to collect myself. I'm getting ready to venture back out into the clown-infested carnival. I knew it was going to be scary for me, but I figured why not face my fears? Who knows? It might help me in the long run. So I open the door and I go outside, only to be greeted by a clown. Now thinking back, this was probably just one of the actors or actresses who was using the bathroom on their break. But in my current state, all I see in front of me is a killer clown. I let out a shriek and I run past them. I'm no longer on the, hey, let's go to a fun Halloween event and be merry mode. I'm in survival mode. I flee down the road. I pass the parking lots and follow the lights leading me down from the top of Griffin Park. To most who don't know the area, it's a somewhat forested hill area of town, and it has hiking trails and even an old zoo. I'm sprinting at this point, and I'm thinking I'm being hunted by killer clowns, and I'm running by small groups of people who probably think I'm nuts. I make it to the bottom of the hill, and at this point I'm thinking I'm safe. But suddenly I realize I have no freaking clue where I am. There are no lights in the area, and I'm walking down some road with no destination in sight. At this point, I've given up on returning to the carnival grounds. I figured that it was too late to make it to the event, and even if I did, my friends would probably mock me for chickening out. At this point, I pull out my phone. 11% battery. I do this to get a lift, but the Wi-Fi is preventing them from finding my location. Ugh. Okay, new plan. I open up Google Maps to try to get a location on my position, and to give me a vague reading, but I believe I know the general area of where I am. And if I only follow this one road, it should lead me to the main road. Then I can call a car. So I start jogging down the hill in pitch black, trying to find the main road, and I'm not seeing any cars or people at all, which seems fairly strange. This seems like it'd be a popular event. This all doesn't add up. So I decide to reopen Google Maps to double check. Well, my phone is now at 5%. Since I kept Google Maps open, it drained my battery. Crap. Okay, let's run. I'm running down the hill and I see an intersection, so I sprint towards it, and I open up my phone to call the Lyft. Boom. I think I'm home free, right? 3%. I get a call from the Lyft driver. He's saying that he's where my dot is, but doesn't see me. I don't see him either. So we try to figure it out. 2%. He tells me that I may be on a one-way road, and that he'll have to circle back to find me. So I decide to double back and go up the hill where I think he is. 1%. I went the wrong way. So now my phone is dead. I'm in the middle of a dark road I've never been in. And I have a Lyft driver trying to find me. This is a horror movie. I give up on the Lyft driver and I go back to my original plan. I start going downhill to find a main road. I'm thinking this is the best guess. And lo and behold, I see a car. Not the car that my Lyft driver said he was driving, but it's a different one. I decided not to run past them because I think they'll think I look weird. So I slow down to a walk. Try my best not to look like a freaked out stoner. Too late. The car drives past me and pulls off the side of the road. I'm in fear. I think that maybe, just maybe, there is a possibility that the clown girl can drive. Then suddenly a woman's voice says, "Hey, you okay?" I decide not to be creepy and yell back, "Yeah, I'm kinda lost." The woman calls me over to her car, and I slowly walk. I figure I probably look creepy out here, all by myself, so I alert her in my most friendly voice. "Oh, by the way, I'm not a serial killer or anything." "Great idea, hi me." Thankfully, she didn't drive away immediately, but her friend, another girl, she gets out of the car to watch me closely. She asks, "So, what are you doing out here?" I decide the best thing to do is for me to just be honest, and maybe they can get me out of this. "I'm stoned and I'm afraid of clowns, and I got lost outside the haunted hayride," I tell them. The two bust out laughing, and they offer me a ride back up the hill since they were going that way anyway. I tell them that I didn't want to go back to the carnival, obviously, but if they'd just drop me off at the top of the hill, I could probably figure something out. They obliged, and they did. Only for me to find my Lyft driver, which was still searching for me along the way. I thank the ladies immensely, and I get my Lyft driver to take me home. Finally entering my apartment, after charging my phone for a bit, I get a call from my roommate asking where I was, because they just made it to the front of the hayride line. I was lost for about 30 minutes. This happened 5 years ago. I grew up in a city with a rather large popular store with a very large international section, along with a very interesting hot sauce display. The store draws people from all over the USA. Now, this store isn't laid out in the best possible manner. It requires a bit of knowledge, or a good locational memory to get around without needing a map. So, on to the story proper. I was 19 and rather heavy set at the time. I was wearing a plain white t-shirt, olive cargo pants that had glittered and beaded metal shavings and machine oil stains on it, work boots and a name tag. All the employees, they wore black polos with hats with the store's name on it, or store branded merchandise, black pants, and nice shoes. Now about this name tag, it was pretty obvious it was not for this store, as it was cream colored with black text, instead of black with green text. My name badge also had my name and area, and the words Quilting Guild in big bold letters, because yours truly quilts. And I had just come from a quilting event. So I'm in the meat department. I help out a couple find the big old hot sauce aisle, which isn't visible from where we are. But there are registers at the end of the meat aisle, so it's just a bit confusing. I see this couple wandering slowly, looking confused, and overhear the words hot sauce aisle. Are you guys looking for the hot sauce aisle?
Yes, we are. The sign said that it's in the back, but we don't know how to get there. Are we at the end of the store?
No, you go this way, hang a right, then either go straight, and blah blah blah. I directed them towards to where they wanted to go.
Thanks.
Then they exit stage right. Not pursued by a bear. Cue suburban white mom, who has a cane that she obviously doesn't need, seeing that she jogged over to me. Hold on to your butts, it's gonna get weird. Here's a conversation. She's snapping at me like I'm a dog.
Hey you! Can you go get a cart for me and push it around for me?
Mid-story interrupt. We're in the middle of the store. There's no easy way to go get a cart in the first place. Also, what the heck? I attempt to comprehend what just happened. I roll a natural 1, and with the temporary -5 wisdom modifier, I fail critically. Excuse me?
You heard me, you lazy, ungrateful snowflake. Go get a cart so I can shop. Can't you see I'm disabled?
She dramatically wobbles her cane, glossing over the fact that she just hoofed it 50 feet to get to me. I recover my wits and assume that it's just a simple misunderstanding. Miss, I don't work here. Here's another side note. This lady walked past 8 shopping carts on the way in. She starts getting flush.
Don't give me that. I heard you helping those people over there. I know your manager Martinez. His wife is my client. I'll get you fired and barred from ever working in any store in this area. I will have you blacklisted.
I'm getting rather annoyed, and I'm pretty laid back. But depression has a way of turning you into a jerk. Miss, you can get the heck out of my face. I don't work here. She starts wobbling her cane even more, frothing at the mouth, shedding her constricting human form to reveal herself as a she-Satan. No, not really.
Then explain why you have a name tag on then.
I turn fully to face her, so she has a plain view of Quilt Guild that is blaringly obvious. Then I say, oh my god, it's almost like name tags exist somewhere outside the store. Go ahead, go to Rodriguez. Ask him if there's any lazy, entitled snowflakes that look like they work in a machine shop, constantly breaking uniform regs, and has a habit of mouthing off valuable customers. She starts to realize that she's in the wrong here.
Well, I guess I'll have to go hungry. Maybe if you clean yourself up and not be a fat slob, you could get a job here. No, wait, I'll have you barred from entering here ever again.
She wobbles her cane in victory, stalks off towards the pork, knocks over a wet floor sign, slips and falls on her butt. Me and the other people who overheard the exchange, 0 craps given. Sweet wet floor of justice. Howdy! Second time posting on Reddit. So have mercy on my lady, especially considering the light trauma of embarrassment that I endured in this encounter. This happened a few years ago. My boyfriend's family makes the yearly trek out of state to come visit us, which includes his sister, her husband, and their young boys. We thought they would really enjoy this really cool rock and crystal shop that has a warehouse of every geode and stone that you can imagine. What could go wrong? We get there, everyone goes off to explore on their own, but his sister and I stuck together, and we ooh and ah at all the pretty gems. In my periphery, I notice a small black shadow saddle up next to me. I look over at the interloper and made eye contact. Why did I do that? Apparently, that's all the green light he needed. In retrospect, he hit all the Neckbeard boxes. Long black trench coat, in the summertime, black cargo pants, combat boots, unkempt scraggly beard, hygiene and personal space nowhere to be found. He is small though. Like, I'm 5'7" and 130 pounds. He was much smaller than me, at about 5'5", 110 pounds. Seemingly no obvious threat to me, or so I think. He must have heard me talking to my sister-in-law about my back pain prior to approaching me. He takes it upon himself to start talking to me about the powers of crystals and how powerful he is, like some type of magical healer warrior wizard type crap. Alrighty then. He then takes a quartz wand and says,
I can heal you. I can perform psychic surgery with this crystal just by rubbing it on your body.
Oh God. He then takes it and starts pretending to touch it on my back, motioning what he would do. Long, slow, sensual-like strokes on my upper back. Barf. I'm frozen in shock. This scene amuses my sister's husband, who watched him from afar and just proceeds to snicker uncontrollably and walk off. Gee, thanks. He actually went to go get my boyfriend. My boyfriend comes up next to us. He's like 6'1", and built like he could be on Vikings. How this dweebet got so lucky, I'll never know. His presence seriously displeases the mystical mage. He openly sneers at my boyfriend and asks,
Oh, is this your boyfriend?
Yep. Cue googly eyes at my boyfriend. He looks my boyfriend up and down and says to me,
You know, I could trash him right now with my powers. I would kill him.
As if my boyfriend wasn't even standing there and couldn't tie him up like a balloon animal. Heck, I could even tie him up like a balloon animal. Though he might be into that. Obviously, my boyfriend knows this petite neckbeard is just a sad case, so there is no macho-ness activated on his part, only pity. Neckbeard then says,
Well, if he wasn't here right now, I could make you fall in love with me.
I just reply, there aren't enough crystals in the galaxy for that to happen. I turn my back and continue shopping. Luckily, he gets the hint and walks off. I hear him ask a very bored associate if they have any dragon wings in stock. Huh? The associate says yeah, it's in the clearance section. The neckbeard turns giddy and yells, Oh sweet! I forgot about one thing he said. My boyfriend reminded me that after he said,
If he wasn't here right now, I could make you fall in love with me, but I just couldn't do that to your boyfriend. It wouldn't be right.
What a nice guy, right? That threw up my boyfriend, especially since he just threatened to thrash him with his crystal. Thank you very much for joining me. If you like those stories, please give me a thumbs up. Which one do you think I should put out first? TIFU, Neckbeard Experience, or Ret'Hell? Leave your thoughts down in the comments. I will be back with more very soon, so stay tuned. Till next time, hope you have a great day and I'll see you again soon.